Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Beyond the Frame Live. My name is Dottie San Martin. I'll be your host this afternoon, and along with me, I have Orly Rivera as my sidekick and co-host today. Welcome, Orly.
How's it going? I'm here.
You're here.
I'm
Well,
here.
we have a special guest in the house today, the owner of Eastside Bowl, Chark, and how do I pronounce your last name?
Kinsolving.
Kinsolving.
Yeah.
Well, Chark, it's very nice to have you here. Welcome to Beyond the Frame.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be here.
Well, we are very intrigued. You have a beautiful bowling center that has a very vintage vibe to it.
Mhm.
But it has state-of-the-art bowling and machines and the new hyper bowling. And we were just really intrigued by it. So we're really happy to have you in the house. And we want to talk about kind of how that all came to be. You've had some really cool music videos recently shot at your center and even not so recently. So we just want to kind of visit with you and find out how things came to be and learn a little bit about what's in your mind and what makes you tick.
Okay.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes. Orly, I'm going to throw it back to you and let you start us off here.
Yeah, just thank you for joining the show, like Dottie mentioned. And just getting right into it, your bowling center, I read that it was a retail building before, and it looks like you did a ton with it when it comes to music, putting concerts on there. How'd this all come about? Do you have a bowling background at all, or what made you jump into the bowling industry?
No, no bowling background at all. I've probably bowled before we built this place and opened it. I may have bowled 6 times in my entire life. But I'm a musician by trade, and I've been in the music business here in Nashville. I've owned music venues and just kind of done that off and on for 20 years. And I was actually on tour in 2012 with an artist by the name of Bobby Keys, and we were playing Brooklyn Bowl in Brooklyn. And that was my first time there. I'd always heard about the place, and I just thought it was a great place. I was actually looking to get out of the music venue business around that time, and wanted to do something different. So I thought, maybe having a bowling alley would be kind of cool. And
Yeah.
so I kind of took the idea of what they were doing, but changed it, obviously, and put a venue in a separate area, and kind of found myself back in the same business, but yet it has a whole different aspect to it as well, with the restaurant and the arcade and just all of that. But that's kind of how it came to be.
And how's the experience gone so far? Jumping into the like you mentioned, the arcade, the bowling, how's it all kind of came together and worked for you?
It's come together really great. The lanes have been a lot of fun. Of course, we're only 16 lanes. I wish we'd had room for more. As you mentioned, it's in an old Kmart is what this building was. And we've got a footprint here of about 33,000 square feet inside of that original building. So we did 16 lanes. All are fully hyper bowl lanes. They're the new string setter machines, all the new Conquer. I forget the number of what you guys are up to now.
Yes, you got the latest, greatest there.
For all the scoring. I think that was around 10,000 square feet of space there. The venue was another 5,000. We've got a full service restaurant in here as well. It's a real retro diner themed kind of thing with a little rock and roll atmosphere to it. The arcade is a full, it's all pinball and 80s arcade games. It's the original Pac-Mans and Ms. Pac-Mans and Donkey Kongs and Asteroids and Galaga. I have a friend here that he's a collector, and he basically supplied our whole arcade with machines from his personal collection. There's about 50 machines in that room.
To me, it sounds like you just kind of, it's almost like if I open my dream place, like, hey, I play music. let me put a stage for myself where I can play anytime. Let me put the video games I like, and let me put a restaurant where I get fed. It's kind of like you got to put all your favorite things into one place.
Pretty much, yeah.
I think this is like the playground now.
Yeah. It's worked out.
Well, that's good. Is there anything that you would do differently?
I don't know, there's always little odd end things here and there. I do wish I wished I had taken more space. I wish I had taken, instead of 33,000 square feet, it might have been nice to have made it an even 40,000 square feet, where I could have put the venue in a different location behind where the bar currently is. And then I could have went from 16 lanes to probably could have got about 30 lanes in had I done the layout differently. But I didn't have enough space. We'd already kind of demised our portion out based on the square footage cost and what our budget was, which I went way over budget like everybody does.
Like everybody, that's right.
And yeah, I blew that budget way out of the water, but luckily I have great investors and forgiving partners. So
yes, and a show place as a result.
Yeah, and when it turned out really, really well. And even our when our bankers came to look at it, just to see where all the money went, they're like, yeah, we get it. You know, they were very impressed with what we accomplished out here.
Yeah. Well, our paths crossed because we had seen the music video, the one that was televised of the late, that
Right.
had Leslie Jordan on it.
Yeah.
And Orly and I are always looking for those behind the scenes stories, like how that came to be and stuff. And so when we were talking a little bit before the call, I was talking about the music video and you said, which one? And
Yeah.
I was impressed. I'm like, okay, which one? That's even better. So tell us a little bit about, obviously, I'm interested in hearing the latest one, the Let It Slide with Leslie Jordan, but how did those come to be? I mean, you said you've had multiple now.
Well, yeah, there's, we're in Nashville, which is, it's a very, it's Music City, but there's also a lot of film work that goes on here. You have location scouts that are based here. And I think with this place, it was just through different contacts that we'd had. Again, I've been, in the music business in one way or shape or form for, over 20 years at this point, and have a history with other venues. So location scouts kind of come to see what we do based on what we've done in the past. And once they start taking, pictures just kind of get out and different people are looking around, and then you just start receiving calls and emails and, seeing what people want to do. But we didn't really go looking for anything. It's just things that come to us based on what we've created here.
Well, that shows you have a great reputation, so that would not be coming back. Tell us a little bit about some of the music videos that you've shot there and other things that have happened there with celebrities.
Yeah. Well, so you mentioned the Leslie Jordan and LOCASH video for Let It Slide. That was the last one. I guess that was about a month ago. We did a music video with a band called Midland. They're a country act, kind of a pop country act. It's out right now. We did one with them, maybe that may have been back in April. I want to say maybe April or May, something like that. We did one with the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band back in probably February or March. They had just recorded an album of all Bob Dylan songs, and I should have looked up what song it was. I can't recall at the moment. But they what was interesting about their video, a lot of people come in and they just want to utilize the lanes, and it's very beautiful out there what we do with the lanes and how the lounge and everything ties into it. But again, there's a 5,000 square foot venue that it's got a balcony, it's got a skybox VIP area in it. It's really nice. And Nitty Gritty Dirt Band chose to they shot a partial performance video on our stage, but then they also shot some scenes on the lanes where they're bowling and goofing around out there. So it was kind of nice to see the whole place get utilized. No one's really used the diner yet, although I think it was CBS This Morning was here maybe 5 months ago. They did an interview with the Black Keys that was set up in the diner. And
nice.
So the diner actually got some screen time there as well. So we've done, stuff like that. That's videos. We did Jack White, who lives here in town. He was actually my neighbor for a while. He lived across, or not lived, but he had his Third Man Records was on 7th Avenue and Drexel, and my venues were on Cannery Row and 8th Avenue. So we were right across the street from each other. But he actually told me he followed our build here on Instagram, because we were posting pictures all through our construction process every day, just so people could
Oh,
see
nice.
how we turned the place into, from a
Yes.
Kmart into what it is. So he actually followed our build all the way through and really dug it. So when he released 2 albums right next to each other a couple of months back, and wanted to do the photo shoot here for all the promo material for the record. So he was here for half a day, just having fun in the place and doing some shots.
Nice.
That's really cool. One of our last shows, we had the owner of Holler House. It's a bowling. I guess it's kind of a bar, and they have
Yeah.
2 lanes downstairs. It's in Wisconsin. 2 lanes downstairs, which are the oldest sanctioned lanes in the United States.
Oh, wow.
And she mentioned Jack Black's bowled there before. Or I'm not sorry, Jack Black. Jack White. So has bowled there before. So a question I'd asked her is if she could have anybody to bowl in her center, or for you maybe anybody to come shoot a music video, anybody to come bowl in your center. Who would you choose that to be? Maybe they're listening.
Anyone. I guess if I could have anyone, I would probably try to convince Robert Plant to get back with Jimmy Page and put Zeppelin back together, and then have Zeppelin do something here.
That would be cool.
Hey, you know what? You never know, right?
Yeah, but yeah, that's cool that I talked about the Jack bowling out there. I know he's got, I believe it's 2 lanes, but then I thought someone told me he has 3 lanes in his house, which I know is an odd number, but I think he has 3 bowling lanes in his house here.
That's really
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's starting to become more popular. People having, obviously we work for a bowling manufacturer, but it's interesting to see how many residences post-COVID are putting in, bowling lanes. Bowling has really become extremely popular.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's really kind of cool. So what other celebrities have you had in the center? Just visiting, you've not been doing a video.
I don't know, see, a friend of mine plays guitar in a metal band called Accept. And one day he called me up to bring some of the guys from Accept. And I believe it was Judas Priest in here. So it was during the day, we weren't even open yet. They were just in town. So we had some heavy metal bowling going on.
Oh, nice.
Cool. But I don't know, we've had, see, Sheryl Crow did her birthday here last year.
Wow.
And
Nice.
so she's been in a couple of times. Yeah, I don't know. We got a lot of people in and out, but I just don't really keep up a lot of times.
That's always fun. It's always fun when you could see people in their just being themselves, having fun,
Yeah.
I mentioned to you earlier that I used to work in radio, and I remember we did something with the little fun theme park, like a little arcade park that had go-karts and stuff, and we had the band Five Finger Death Punch there. And here's these metal rock stars riding on go-karts, bumping into each other, and there's a 16-year-old kid whistling at them, "Hey, no bumping, no bumping." But it's kind of fun just to see people being themselves, having fun, away from the light,
Oh, yeah.
It's always kind of cool.
When I used to own a place here in Nashville called the Cannery Ballroom, and it was an 1,100 capacity room, and I used to have Five Finger Death Punch there occasionally. So familiar with them.
Yeah, they're a great band. So I have a question for you. So obviously you have arcade, diner, stage. If you could look into a crystal ball, something you might want to do in the future, what is that you might want to do there that might be your next big thing there?
Well, we're looking at opening another place. It's still early stages. And I don't want to talk too much about it, but the layout that I'm working on in my head right now will be a split house where it will have 16 lanes on one side, 16 on another, and then with the barn restaurant portion straight down the middle.
Oh, nice.
The area that we're looking to do it in, that way I can keep, maybe keep one half of the place where that's families, and keep the kids over there, and then you've got the other half where late at night, that's where your young adults can go, and maybe it's a little rowdier over there, but it's a little more family friendly over here. So I haven't started the actual design of it yet. It's kind of my January 1st duty is to kind of start that.
Okay.
And I know Terry Rohr, who works for you guys, he's going to take me to a couple of split houses that he's aware of, and where I can start getting some ideas on how to lay certain things out.
Yeah, I definitely look forward to following that. I think it's interesting that you mentioned that you kind of share on Instagram the whole journey of Eastside Bowl
Yeah.
going from an empty Kmart building to where it is today. And that's so powerful. People love to see how things happen, and they love to
Yeah,
feel
for
that
sure.
they're a part of that story. And so, the people watching this video, I hope that they can see the value in utilizing your social media and allowing your customer to see inside,
Yeah.
and to go on that journey with you. There's a lot to be said about doing that. So I commend you. Kudos for
Yeah.
doing that.
I think people got a kick out of seeing just how we did, because everything in here is completely custom built, other than the furniture that came in. We made all of our, like there was a bowling alley that had went out of business here in town, and we were able to get all of the old wooden lanes. So we had literally trailer loads of these wooden lanes, all of our bar tops, our back bar cabinetry, our front desk, even drink rails that kind of run around the pool table area. Everything's made from old lanes. If it's something that we could think of, we did it, or we found a way to do it. Like, I know one thing that everybody really gets a kick out of, if you're standing and looking down the lanes, a lot of the news centers that open up, a lot of people go the new route, and they go with all the digital backdrops and everything, where it's constant, motion and video playing above the actual pins. We didn't want that. We actually found a center that was upgrading, and we were able to purchase all of their old AMF masking units that were from the early 1970s, the ones with the big triangles in them. So we redid all of those, cleaned them up, repainted them, put LED lights inside of them. So we have this really unique look. It looks like a full-on retro center when you step in here. But again, like as you pointed out earlier, it's all new technology.
That's right. Until you roll that first ball and it blows you away that, hey, wait, I was expecting pin boys to sit.
Oh yeah. We had a picker that has access to a lot of other nationwide pickers, and we purposely had him look for old AMF signage and stuff. So we've got some really cool old signage that's around inside, and some of the signage outside. When people pull in this place, the exterior facade, the way that I designed it with chevron roof and the big chimney and the Sputnik on top, it looks like something, out of the late 50s, early 60s. It just has that kind of feel. And then when you walk inside, it really has sort of a Las Vegas casino kind of vibe from that same era. Even our carpet, didn't exist. We designed our own carpet. We designed our own wallpaper. All of the lighting was, a lot of thought just went into everything. So how it would look. And people, even on their 4th or 5th visit here, will tell me they're just seeing one thing for the first time, because there's just so much stuff to look at. The place is just, it's just eye candy. So people really have to look to find all these little details that we hid in different places.
Well, and it makes such an impression when you're coming in and you have a mindset of what you think it's going to be, because you've seen the outside, right? Even your logo has that feel, right? And when you've got this mindset of what you think you're going to see when you walk through, and that's not what you see, and you see the venue with the lights and the string machines and stuff like that, feeling of, oh my gosh, I can imagine there's a lot of those oh my gosh moments when people walk through the door, right? That makes an impression.
And I've always told people, I wish I could get that, because I don't know what it's like to walk in here for the first time, because I spent 2 years from doing the blueprints. I built it in a 3D program to see how certain things would interact with other things. And, and just being here every day, I was the general contractor, I was the project manager, I was dealing with the banks, dealt with the design. And so I never got that big wow moment, because it was always just something to do,
Yeah. And the nice thing about it, I will say this, you mentioned that you're already looking at maybe another project. So obviously it wasn't so bad that you say, I can't go through this again, right?
Oh, no,
You survived. You're still in one piece and you still have your hair. So that's a good thing.
that is true. It's a little grayer, but yeah, I've still got it.
Hey, that's okay. There's things for that. So that's awesome. So yes, we have, as I said, we have people from all walks of life that are part of our Beyond the Frame group.
Sure.
And we're always looking for those words of wisdom, right? As I mentioned to you earlier, we started this platform back during COVID because so many people were balancing it out and wondering if they were going to be able to continue with their venue or not. And, we wanted to give as much hope and as many resources as we could for our followers and our viewers. If you had any message that you could share with our viewers today, what would that message be?
Oh, wow.
Play.
Anything. I'm trying to think of something positive and inspirational. And a lot of times I was pulling my hair going, why am I doing this?
But was it worth it?
Yeah, it was. It was. I guess the big thing, it's not really an answer to your question, but it'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
When we opened right before Thanksgiving last year. So we're one full year in. So when you open a new place, and I've been through this before, you open a new place and it's huge right off the bat. Everybody's flocking to it. You have that honeymoon period. And for us, it was around Easter that things started to drop off a little bit. Well, then summer's coming, and I didn't realize, summertime is slow and for bowling because it's an indoor sport where a lot of folks are outside. And for us, I didn't really see that coming and wished I had counter planned for, had some pre-planned activities, whether it were, bar leagues or something fun, something that I could have planned on to get more folks in during the summer.
Yes.
And now being a year in, we know how to plan for the following year. So I don't know. It's like it's almost like there's three businesses here between the bowling, the restaurant, and the venue.
Mm-hmm.
Got maybe, I don't know, around 80 employees, I think, total that do just everything. And it's some things that I thought were going to be easy ended up being hard, and things that I thought would be hard actually were pretty easy. The bowling portion of it is the thing I thought would be, I don't know anything about bowling. How's this going to work? That's been easy. That's been great. It's all the other stuff. So I don't know if that really answers your question or not, but
yes, it definitely does. And I think it's really interesting that you pointed out how valuable the lesson was, that planning is crucial when it comes to the bowling portion. And especially coming upon the new year, right?
Yeah.
It definitely behooves a center to plan ahead and make sure that you have thought about all those periods and what you're going to do to make sure that you aren't right in the middle of it and then trying to figure out, oh gosh, now what do I do? So, to be able to plan ahead and make sure that you have a plan in place for those slower periods. And now you have that under your belt, so next year will be a lot different.
For example, like if you have a center that's in if you're in in more of a larger city, like we are here, we just hired I've got a director of event sales that works here now, and she does outreach with the convention board here in town. She was a wedding planner for years. And just having her on board for the last 2 months, our calendar fills up with tons of private events. Of course, Christmas is around the corner, so we've got. I think for the month of December, I have 18 private events here, along with one full day buyout where we're closed to the public. They've bought the entire place, restaurant, 16 lanes, the bar, the venue, and they've got just a whole day planned for their employees. And if you get someone that knows that world and knows how to do that outreach, that can help you tremendously. You may think, oh, nobody wants to get married in a bowling alley, but strangely enough, there are people that want to get married in a bowling alley.
And that's true. They just don't think of it.
It's good.
Yeah, they don't think of it. And when you are actively creating brand awareness for your center and letting people be aware
Yeah,
of what can be done in your venue, sometimes it's as simple as they never thought of that.
right.
They just never thought of that. And wow, how could I have not known to do this? It's a perfect match. And so I can certainly see how having that person on your staff now can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank you for, I'm sure that your schedule is packed like everybody else in this industry, but we certainly appreciate you taking time and sharing your story. What an exciting story. I hope to make it to your center one of these days.
Well, I hope you do.
Because I've heard nothing but great things. We're proud to have you as a customer of ours. And we're proud that you spent some time with us this afternoon to share your story of how it all came to be. And you run a tight ship there, and it's very obvious. So thank you for sharing your story with us today. Before we leave, I want to share with our viewers that we have secured a new guest that will be coming up in a couple of weeks. It's still tentative for December the 13th, but we are going to host Jim Cripps, who is the backwards bowler that recently shot a perfect 300 game with his unique backwards approach.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that should be really, really interesting. Orly, are we going to have to turn around and face
Do
backwards?
the show backwards. Yeah, we might have to. Yeah. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, just YouTube it, backwards bowler. He just bowled a 300 game. It's pretty amazing because I don't even get close to a 300 game bowling normal frontwards.
Maybe you ought to try it. Don't knock it till you tried it. Maybe you'll be
Right.
better backwards.
Maybe so. Hopefully it goes better than overhanded bowling. We had a
Right.
couple of guys
Oh,
come in.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Oh, I see
were-
those
they were
videos.
thrown out in their second frame.
I see those
They were
videos on
from the building. Yeah.
I see those videos on TikToks of kids kind of messing around or throwing the balls and doing these things. And now that I help run, a family's bowling center here in Wisconsin a couple days a week,
Yeah.
I see that, and it's like not funny now when you see it.
No.
When you actually, it's like, oh, it just
Cringe.
gives me a stomach
Yeah.
ache. Yeah, when these kids think it's funny, and I'm like, no, don't do that. But just like Dottie said, yeah, your center looks awesome. I was just thinking in my head, Dottie, our next meeting, if we go out of state, we gotta maybe take a trip down to
We'll have to
Nashville. 'cause
take
I've
it
never
on the
been there.
road, be on the frame on the road. You'll have to take us on a tour.
Be happy to.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for letting us impose on you this afternoon. But your story is great. What you do is great. I can't wait to follow in your journey on the next venture.
Well, cool. Thank you.
So we'll be watching. We're following you on social media, and we like what you're doing, and we wish you the very, very best.
Awesome.
Going forward. So viewers, thanks for joining us this afternoon. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to leave them in the comment section. This live video will be on our Facebook channel for you to leave any questions or comments. We'd love to hear from you. Everybody have a great afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.